Hey, what's up, Cindy?
Hello.
All right. So what do we want to do today?
Sorry.
What do you want to do today? English, math?
Oh, can we do English and a little bit of math at the end?
Sure.
Yeah.
An hour today. So English. Like you want to do passages today?
Mhm.
Sure, we can do that. So what are you gonna do for Thanksgiving?
Oh, Thanksgiving. I'm working.
You're working? Oh,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
My Miss Linda, she introduced me, but she was like, "Oh, you're gonna be working at the ramen place, like Japanese restaurant." And then I went there today, and it was Thai restaurant. I
Oh, wait. So she set you up with a job?
think so. Yeah. I mean, but no. I think I'm not gonna work on Thanksgiving, to be honest.
Huh. Dang,
Because
that
I'm
seems interesting.
going because my boyfriend invited me to his dinner. And
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
yeah, I've never experienced Thanksgiving before because you don't have Thanksgiving in Korea. So
Uh, it's overrated. I have to study the whole Thanksgiving.
no.
Yeah. All right, let's do this one. So, wait, have you seen these passages before?
The storyline or like those kind of
Sure, either way. So essentially what this is a grammatical
oh yeah.
you're fixing the grammar.
Yeah.
So in sentence for number 13, let me get my pen. Number 13, it's what is it? It's saying how do you combine the two sentences? So as a yeah, so which of the following effectively combines the two sentences in the underlying portion? Typically, the ice sheet begins to show evidence of thawing in late summer. This follows several weeks of higher temperatures. So which of these shows a correct sentence? So is it A? So if we put a comma and then following several weeks of higher temperatures, is that,
Yeah.
is it?
No? Wait.
No. So here, so have you ever heard of a gerund phrase?
No.
No, right? It's a weird name, but it's such a cool name. So now you'll remember it.
Gerund phrase.
A gerund phrase. So whenever you have like following around the bend or following Joe Bob to work, whatever. If you have an ing word starting something, it's a gerund phrase. You can have a gerund phrase in the beginning of your sentence. So you can say following Joe Bob to work, comma, I went to the store, whatever. Or you get whatever. So the first part, if you have your gerund phrase in the beginning, it works, and you can use your comma. If you have your gerund phrase at the end, though, you don't need a comma.
Oh.
Okay. So if we write typically the ice sheet begins to show evidence of thawing in late summer following several weeks of higher temperatures, comma. Well, if you have the comma before following, you don't need it. It's not necessary. You can read this sentence as the ice sheet begins to show evidence of thawing in late summer following several weeks of higher temperatures. You don't need a comma there. So that one, because there's a comma, it marks it out. Okay, so then typically the ice sheet begins to show evidence of thawing in late summer And this thawing follows several weeks of higher temperatures. Honestly, following would be the best one. I like A the best, but it's not true. Actually, it is the best because you don't end this thawing. Effectively, A is, yeah. You know what? Forget it. We're gonna say that's correct because the other ones make the least amount of sense. And here's why. And this thawing follows.
Mhm.
It doesn't. It's redundant. You don't need the redundancy. So, and this thawing volumes and such thawing volumes. The reason why D is wrong is because there's no comma.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
yeah. Sorry. Let me explain why that makes sense. Do you remember subordinate and independent clauses?
No.
Independent and dependent clauses? No. The fanboys. I remember we talked about
Oh
it one
yeah, I
point.
remember. I remember
Yeah.
fanboys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you use fanboys when you have two independent clauses. So a fanboy here would be and. These are
Hmm.
fanboys.
Hmm.
Because this there's a fanboy here, a coordinating conjunction. And if you have this evidence follows several weeks of higher temperatures, if that whole sentence is an independent clause. So what is an independent clause? Do you remember?
Oh. Wait. Hmm.
Give you a hint.
Oh,
If
I
I
found it.
it's
Oh, can you give me a hint?
no, you can tell me. You found it.
Ah, no. Okay. Mm, it says one section, second reading passage. Oh,
Um,
oh. No, it's
yeah.
just my bad, my bad.
No, so it's an independent clause is a clause that can stand alone. So it doesn't need any basically it has a subject and a verb, and if
Hmm.
you say it alone it makes sense. If I say Cindy went to the store, that makes sense, right?
Hmm.
If I say because Cindy went to the store, does that make sense? Do you know what you're going to do at the
Yeah. No, no,
store?
no. Because Cindy went to the store. Oh,
Something more, right? So if I just say because Cindy went to the store, that is a dependent clause because it cannot stand alone.
yes.
That makes
Sorry.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this this is an independent clause. This evidence follows the rest of the sentence. That's an independent clause. Because they have no comma there, it makes that incorrect grammar. So forget that. And then the other two are excessively wordy. And this thawing follows and such thawing follows. It's you don't need that many words just to say following. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
You whenever you write a sentence, you don't want to use excessive words. It just makes your writing sound pretentious or unnecessarily wordy. So you want to use as little words as possible, which is why following is the best answer. Sorry, I was reading that a little bit weird. Um, it's still a gerund phrase. It's like following whatever. And having a comma is not technically, you don't need a comma, but you can have a comma. Yeah, I just looked it up while I was just to make sure, but yeah, you can have a comma.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's do 14. Now you read this one.
Ain't no change.
No change.
Hmm.
Let's look at it again.
Oh, okay, okay. Wait. That's high temperature.
So, for example, means
Oh, D.
D. Okay, so that means okay. So first,
Okay.
what does for example mean? When you use for example, what are you talking
Like
about?
to give an example about
Exactly. So that means whatever
yeah.
you talked about previously,
Hmm.
the same thing is going to happen,
Yeah.
right? So the ice sheet begins to thaw in late summer,
Hmm.
and then it follows weeks of higher temperatures. In the summer of 2012, virtually the entire Greenland ice sheet underwent thawing at or near its surface by mid-July, the earliest date in record. So this is early in the summer that it's doing this. So is that the same as late summer?
Mm, no.
No.
Oh, when it's however.
Very good.
Wait, but what is
So
as such?
as
Oh.
such, it's another
Hmm.
way of saying for example, which is why
Oh.
if you look at these, all of them are the same except for however. For example, as such, moreover, those all mean the same thing. They are elaborating on the same point. If you say however, though, that is in contrast to something else, which means that it's different.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Okay, cool. Let's do 15.
Oh, it's all about the commas. Okay.
Very good. But which comment is correct?
What's the hardest?
This is the hardest? No, this is one's the easiest one. You just need to understand what they're talking about.
Okay.
So for
Hmm.
the comma, for whatever whenever you're working with a comma, the easiest way to think about it is the inside of the comma. If you take it out, the sentence will still make perfect sense.
Mm.
So so if you so if you take out so the I'll give you first I'll give you a hint. The first comma is where it needs to be. You just have to
After
figure
the
out a
box.
place after. So Jason Box is his last name, right? Because it's
Oh
capital
yeah.
B.
Hmm.
This is a proper noun. An associate professor of geology at Ohio State.
And then
Is all
comma.
that necessary? Oh, very good. And then another comma. That's so. Which one's that?
C. Yay.
So the reason why that one works is because you don't need any of that extra stuff. An
Information.
associate
Yeah.
professor. Exactly. It's extraneous. Okay.
Got it.
Good job. Let's do 16.
Factor added to the early. What's what's that? What's the though?
Thaw. Thaw.
Thaw?
So thaw means when ice thaws, it starts to melt. So thaw is to melt.
Melt?
Melt.
Okay. Like a fancy way to say melt?
I don't know if it's a fancy way to say melt. It's just a way to say melt. So like
Oh.
uh yeah, no, it's just a way to say melt. It's a long melt. Like if you say melt, like the ice
Mhm.
melts, you're thinking of just a little bit of ice melting or
Oh.
snow melt. It's just a little bit. A thaw means it was a deep freeze and it's now all melting. So it's thawing out.
Oh.
So you would use thaw in cases of really cold conditions or in large scale.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's just another word for melt. All right.
Oh, and I don't know which situation
Okay.
to
So
use.
what punctuation do they have currently? What is that called?
The dark snow problem.
No. Punctuation.
What's
What
punctuation?
yeah, what's the punctuation after thaw? That's what they're really changing here, right?
Punctuation.
Yeah, what is this called? What is this called?
That's called punctuation?
Well, it's a form of punctuation. Do you know what punctuation means?
No.
So punctuation is the way of ending sentences, thoughts, ideas, anything. Um, Basically, any of the commas, periods, semicolons, colons, exclamation marks, question marks,
Oh, those are all.
forms of punctuation, quotation marks, apostrophes, all of these are punctuation. So this punctuation right here is called a semicolon. A
Mhm.
semicolon is used in cases where you're separating two independent clauses without the use of a coordinating conjunction. So you can say, Cindy went to the store, semicolon. Oh, but they have to be connecting ideas. You can't, so you say, Cindy went to the store, semicolon, she bought eggs, milk, and bread. You
Mhm.
can't say, Cindy went to the store, the airplane fell out of the sky.
Oh,
Those are two
that's okay.
completely different ideas and they don't mesh well together. You can't connect them with a semicolon. So a semicolon connects two independent ideas or independent clauses, but without the use of a coordinating conjunction. A colon connects a dependent and an independent together. The thing is, most people use colons when they're listing things. So like, this is the things that I need, my grocery list,
Oh.
eggs, milk, and bread. That would be a use of a colon. Another use of a colon is I went to the river, colon. Oh, I went to the river, colon, the large the largest in the world. So basically, connecting like a dependent, you can't say the largest in the world alone. It needs to be
Mhm.
connected to something. The colon would help connect. It provides a descriptor, essentially. Yeah. So now knowing that, the different terms of punctuation, which one would you choose? So first,
Oh.
see if the ending, the dark snow problem, is that an independent or a dependent clause? Can it stand alone or does it need something else?
Mm, wait.
Here, I'll go.
I think I know the answer.
What's the answer?
A?
No.
No.
Um,
Oh.
so
Okay. Never
okay,
mind.
so the no snow problem, the dark snow problem is a dependent clause. It cannot stand alone.
Then it's C.
It is C, yes. But why is it not D and not B?
Because it's dependent clause. Like it, it's like it's independent clause, independent clause.
Nice try. Um, So the and it was, you don't need an and if you're going to use the semicolon. You don't need an and. Yeah, you need a comma instead of the semicolon. So that takes that one out. D, being the dark snow problem. If you added the word being, it would be a subordinating conjunction, which means you wouldn't need the colon. So logically, the only other choice is C, which is the correct answer. But yes, you could have also found C makes the most sense because it reads the best. But yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Okay, what about this? How about this one? See if you can do this.
Oh, number 12.
Number 12. Is there another number on the page?
That graph is terrifying me, but okay.
Well, no, it's not that bad. Which choice most accurately and effectively represents the information on the graph? So what they're saying is the average daily low temperatures can drop to as low as 20 degrees. Is that the average daily low temperatures? Where is the average?
That's high temperature.
So what's the low?
B, 12 degree Fahrenheit.
Very good. That was super easy, wasn't
the easiest problem.
Yeah. Okay, let's see this one. Okay, here. So the writer is considering deleting the underlined sentence through the conservation methods. Although these conservation methods can be costly and time consuming, they are well worth the effort. Oh, well, actually you can't do this one without reading the rest of the thing. Never mind, don't do that one. Basically what you would do for this question is you would read the stuff before and below it. And if it makes sense to actually, yeah, you can do it. I'll scroll up just there. Okay, now try it.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
C.
C. No, because it continues the explanation of what acid way can be disposed of safely.
No.
Okay, well, don't change your answer. Maybe you're right.
It's so confusing.
Okay, so basically they're saying, is this sentence valuable or not? So if we read the sentence before it, yogurt manufacturers, food scientists, and government officials are also working together to develop additional solutions for reusing whey. That ends that paragraph. Then it says, though these conservation methods can be costly and time consuming, they are well worth the effort. Nutritionists consider Greek yogurt to be a healthy food. It's an excellent source of yada, yada, yada. That makes sense, right? Having that is a good transition to the next paragraph, right? Yeah. So just knowing that, we can eliminate two of the choices. So yes, because it does not provide a transition from the previous paragraph. No, it definitely does, which is why we like it. Yes, because fails to support the argument from the whatever. We already said no, we want to keep it because it's a good transition, so we'll take that off. So now it's between these two. No, because it continues the explanation of how acid whey can be disposed of safely. Or no, because it sets up the argument in the paragraph for the benefits of Greek yogurt. So acid disposing, it continues the explanation of how they can be disposed safely. Well, I don't think it continues the explanation of how they can be disposed of safely. It just says that it's worth the effort. So that's not explaining it, it's just supporting it. So that's why I wouldn't choose that one. But then here's the one that is the only one left, but also the correct choice. It sets up the argument in the paragraph for the benefits of Greek yogurt. So how do we know that that's the correct answer? Well, read the next sentence. Nutritionists consider Greek yogurt to be a healthy food. It's an excellent source of calcium and protein, serves to be a digestive aid, and contains sugars.
I didn't read
So
the next paragraph.
Yeah. Make sure you read before and after. That's something that will trip you up. But yes, that is the correct answer because it's a good transition and it sets up the paragraph for the next one. Okay, let's try 7.
BS.
Very good. Okay, what about 8?
No change. Ain't no change. No.
Look a little closer. So this is what we call parallelism.
Oh,
You want to have
yeah,
parallel
I know what
structure.
that is.
You know what that is? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's look at the first ones of each of the other one. It's an excellent source. It is an excellent source of calcium and proteins, serves as a digestive and blank.
Oh, you don't need eat it. It's
Very
C.
good. So which one?
It contains.
There you go. Make sure you read the preceding sentence. It's very important.
My bad habit is like I just read it, and if it sounds like
If it looks right,
if
then
it sounds if it looks weird, I'm like that's right.
9 out of 10 times, they'll all look right. They're all proper English. It's just how they format them in the actual sentence, which is annoying, but what are you gonna do? Okay, try 9.
Ain't no change.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Because they're all talking about why Greek yogurt is better.
Greek yogurt.
And yeah, cool. Yeah, let's do this one.
I think it's A or D.
A or D? Okay. I'm gonna say no,
No?
but no, but let's see why. So according to Box, a leading Greenland expert, tundra fires in 2012 from as far away as North America produced great amounts of soot. Some some of it drifted over Greenland's giant plumes of smoke and then fell over, yada yada. If you say some of it, that can essentially stand alone as its own sentence. You don't really need a comma, you need a period.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't have of it. And if you delete it, some drifted over Greenland's giant plumes of smoke and then fell into particles over the ice sheet. That would make the sentence incomplete. You wouldn't understand exactly what you're talking about. You know it's the soot by context clues, but it's not specified in the sentence. So you need some specification.
Wait, what's the definition of suit? Like, is
Soot.
it like,
So
mhm.
so it's ash, but it's a special type of ash. Have you ever like seen chimneys?
Yeah,
You know what a chimney is? Okay, yeah. Santa Claus goes down the chimney. Um,
yeah.
when the when you go down chimneys and you burn wood, the ash that
Oh,
is
the black
expelled,
thing. Yeah,
yes, that is soot.
got it.
Um, yeah, a lot of things produce soot, but the most common example is fireplaces
Chimney.
and ashes and chimneys. Yeah. Um, yeah. So some soot drifted over Greenland in giant plumes of smoke that could stand alone as its own. So I wouldn't use that either. And we said delete is incorrect. So of which is the correct answer. The reason why it's of which is because it's more specific than it.
Mm,
So say you can say some of it drifted, but if you say some of which, it specifies the soot more than it. It's a little nuanced thing. And now that I'm saying it to you, it's weird to like wrap your head around because I'm sure to you this is like, why would you use which? Well, not it, right? It doesn't make that much sense. The reason that, like, looking at it now, I know it because I speak English and that's just the words that you use. But the best way that I could describe it to you is you're using something as a descriptor. So whenever you're using a descriptor, you want to make it as descriptive as possible, right?
mhm.
But when you do that, you want to make it as straightforward as possible too. So if you say some of it drifted over Greenland, you can say some of the soot drifted over Greenland, but that essentially can stand alone. If you say some of which, it is essentially connected to the thing that you're talking about before, more so than if you say it. Because which, if you remember, is a subordinating conjunction. It always comes back to these things, dependent and independent clauses. Everything is related to those two. Which is a subordinate clause.
Um,
It is a noun. So uh, that is I think that's the main reason that it's which, because you're using a comma. Yes. Remember this because it will come up again.
okay.
Most likely. Okay, try. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Ish? No, maybe. No, be honest. Be honest.
I mean,
And if not, what
it
part of
does
this?
make sense. Like, um,
I just want to make sure you're not super confused. If you're super confused, let me know and we can stay on this because I
kind
can
of
come up
super
with more examples.
confused.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. This concept is pretty difficult, not gonna lie. So here we'll make a little chart. So you have soot, right?
Mhm.
You can go one of two ways. You can have a separate sentence or a connected sentence. If we want a separate sentence, what do you need to have a separate sentence? An independent clause. There's two things I told you before.
Um, two things. Separate sentence and
Independent.
connected sentence. Oh, independent.
So an independent clause can stand alone because it has a blank and a blank. Starts with S and a V.
There's blank and a blank.
Yeah, S and a V. Starts with S, starts with a V.
Oh, subject.
Mm-hmm.
And A and S and what?
Starts with a V. The second letter is an E. 4-letter word.
Oh, verb.
Yeah. Verb, like verb.
Like a hangman.
Verb. Like hangman. So a separate sentence is a subject and a verb.
Mhm.
A connected sentence theoretically does not. It can have a subject or a verb, or it can have none. It doesn't have to have that. Basically, the whole idea is it cannot stand alone. So if we go back to this, if we look at this sentence, some of it drifted over Greenland and yada, 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 yada. The subject here is it.
Mhm.
And the verb here is drifted. So
Mhm.
we have a comma here, and we can't change that comma. And before the subject, we have some. So now, do you remember what our fanboys are?
Yeah.
What are they?
Or and
Yeah.
nor but or yet so.
Very good. So is that any of the fanboys? Some.
No.
No. So we can't have a subject and a verb like that, right?
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't have it look like an actual sentence. Because this is not a, what is it called? A fanboy. It's not a coordinating or a subordinating conjunction. Some. If you just have some. So that no changes out. What about soot? Some soot drifted over Greenland. Is that a subject?
Huh?
Is soot a subject?
Oh, yeah.
So that's off for the same reason. Okay, and then if we delete the underlined portion, some drifted over Greenland in giant plumes of smoke and then fell as particles onto the ice sheet. That in itself, if you have some, it can act as a noun. Care about the bachelor. Yeah, it can act as a noun.
Mm-hmm.
Just having some alone. So, in order to make this a dependent clause, something that needs the comma that we can have standalone or not standalone, we have to have something that makes this dependent. Some of which drifted over Greenland in giant plume of smoke and yada yada. Some of which drifted over Greenland. Can that does that make sense standing alone? Just
No.
some of which drift. No, right?
No.
No. Do you get why that doesn't make any sense? Like it just doesn't sound right, or no?
I mean, it doesn't sound right, and
What's the main reason?
the main reason is this doesn't sound.
Sure, that honestly, I would take that, but I want you to learn this concept. Which is a what?
Which is a subject. No, not subject. Sub what?
Subordinating
Subordinating.
conjunction.
Conjunction. Oh, okay.
Subordinating conjunction. It's what makes your dependent clauses. Because of that, it makes it a dependent clause. All right.
Conjunction.
Does that make a little bit more sense why it's that? Why it doesn't sound right? Because it's essentially making it need something else. Have you ever met someone who's like super needy?
Super
Like
what?
super needy. Needy. Like they need attention all the time. That's what the subordinating conjunctions do. They're so needy, they need someone who's independent, an independent clause to make them whole. But the problem is this: a subordinating conjunction can go to an independent clause and make it needy too. You know how like a needy person can cling to someone and then they're like incapacitated? No, this is a bad analogy, isn't it? Okay. Basically what I'm saying is an independent clause. Let's say the boy walked down the street. That can stand alone. That's a normal sentence, right? Because the boy walked down the street. Now you're left wanting more. It goes back to the same thing I was talking to you about earlier. If you remember that. Because the boy walked down the street, that doesn't make sense standing alone. You have to have something after. Like, what is he doing? Because what? Like, why do I care? This itself is now a subordinate, a dependent clause. My bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All because of this, which is a subordinating conjunction. The same thing as which.
Ooh.
Okay, there we go. All right, 18. Let's do this and then we'll do some math. Last one. All right, this is also parallelism.
Ain't no change because it's
Very
past
good.
tense. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So because it fell, it's drifted and fell. They're the same tense. You want to keep them the same tense. All right, good. Let's go to math. Which ones have we not done? We've done all of these. How about this one?
Ooh. Okay. A.
A?
Wait. 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 There's no such value of n? What's that mean?
There's
Like,
no, so for you can't, none of, so there's no way, no matter what you put in for n,
oh, it don't matter?
it don't
Yeah,
matter.
it's D.
Yeah. Why is it D?
Cause, I can't believe that you're asking me. Cause what's it called? No,
Yeah. What are these called?
I don't know. I even forgot
Yeah.
in Korean too.
The absolute value.
The absolute value.
So what does that mean? Like, I could say absolute value, but like that probably wouldn't mean anything to you. The absolute value is a distance from one thing to another. It is the unchanged value from a number to a number. So if I said I'm moving on a coordinate plane, let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm here. This is me. I'm an amazing stud right there.
Whoa.
I know, right? Crazy. And I'm going 1, 2, 3 units to the left. If I were to calculate this normally, where I am on the coordinate plane, I'm at -3 right now. But how far have I moved? How many
3.
units?
3
units, right? That is the distance I have moved. So the absolute value of my movement is 3 units. So can an absolute value ever be negative? No.
No.
It's always going to be a positive number, or zero or positive. So here, which is why if you've ever seen an absolute value graph, it looks like this.
Oh.
Which means for whatever value of x you put in, it's always going to be positive.
It's always.
Yeah. So for this, nothing that you can put in will make it equal to 0 because you have a positive 1 on this side, which means it's always going to be at least 1 or more. Okay, what about this one?
Installations.
You think? So, which one can you eliminate instantly?
A.
Okay, that's too small, right? Tens. What about the other one? There's one more you can eliminate instantly.
D.
Yep.
It's too big.
Okay, so now we know it's 27,500. So how I would do this is I would write down each of the values: 9, 5, 6, 4, and 3.5. So if I add all these up, they'll give me 27.5. What number do I have to multiply by to get 27,500?
9.
Not you have to multiply by 9.
Wait, which one? 9
So
and 3.5. It's the closest.
no.
No? Wait.
Okay, yeah, let me explain again. So all of these, so in this graph, you have a certain number of installations for each of these.
Mm-hmm.
If you take, you see how much in each city, how many installations, my bad, how many installations are going on. So in city A, there was 9. Oopsies. In city B, there was 5. City C, 6. City D, 4. And city E, 3.5. If you add up all the installations, it gives you 27.5. We know the total number of installations is 27,500. So what do we have to multiply by 27.5 to get 27,500? What number?
Oh, 1,000.
1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so which one says 1,000?
C.
There you go. Easy as that.
Oh, got it.
Okay. Try this one.
Okay. I think it's A, but I don't know how to explain it. Like,
Okay, so this is algebra. So, and you're right, it is A. Very good. So you just subtract both sides by 1,052 and then divide everything by 1.08. Okay, what about this one?
um, Yeah, D.
Okay, so let's see. That'd be x is equal to 2. Yeah, -2. So -2 is greater than x.
Oh, wait, what? Wait.
How did I get there? Is that a little
No, no,
weird?
no, no, no. No, I know how to go there. Wait,
Oh,
I know how to do that, but like I did total different way.
oh.
And
What?
I'm like,
You just
I'm so
subtracted 3x from
confused.
both sides, right? Subtract 3x from
Yeah.
both sides. You get x. Add 3 to both sides. You get -2.
-2.
Yeah.
I got
No.
-2 too.
Oh, you got -2 too. That's perfect. So which is -2 greater than or equal to -2? It's
A.
equal to, right? Yeah. Hey. All right. I think that is all our time for today. Do you have
Mhm.
any pressing concerns, life things, any questions, anything you want to talk about?
Nope.
Yeah. All right. Um, good. I hope you have a wonderful break and get
You
a lot of rest
too.
done.
You're
Yeah,
gonna study the whole Thanksgiving. But eat turkey. I heard
mostly.
that they eat
Eat
turkey in
turkey.
Thanksgiving.
They do. You should totally eat as much turkey as you can. However, it releases a lot of what is it? Ghrelin? Or there's a hormone that you release, turkey especially, and you get really tired from it. Um,
Really?
yeah, so everyone eats a bunch of food, a bunch of turkey on Thanksgiving, and then takes a gigantic nap afterwards. So the nap is the best part, in
Oh,
my opinion. But yeah, enjoy it. Have fun with your boyfriend's family,
God.
and
Thank
then
you.
we'll see you
Bye.
next week.
Have a nice Thanksgiving. Thank you.